All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining our meeting today. Really appreciate you all taking the time. Today, we'll be discussing the Play to Zero request for proposals. This session will be recorded and posted later on for those who are not able to attend in person. Um, I'm going to put the link to the document that we'll be referencing quite a bit in the chat as well, just to make sure that you all have it if you'd like to review. And with that, I will pass it over to Brandon Hamilton.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the time to join us today. As Mika said, my name is Brandon Hamilton. I'm Vice President of Stadium Operations and Facilities for the Kansas City Chiefs. I also serve on the Board of Directors of the Green Sports Alliance, and I'm here to open today's kickoff on behalf of the board and to provide you a brief context for the Play to Zero RFP before the Alliance staff walks through the documents and the process in detail. From the board's perspective, this RFP represents a pivotal moment for the Alliance and for the sports industry more broadly. Play to Zero is not simply about tracking sustainable data. It's about building shared infrastructure that allows sustainability to be operationalized, measured, and understood as enterprise value across sports organizations. Sports venues operate in complex, high visibility, and performance-driven environments. For sustainability to scale in that context, it must you must do more than exist as it must do more than exist just as a commitment. It must show up as insight that operators can act on, insight that executives and boards can trust, and insight that can be communicated clearly in the language of performance, efficiency, and long-term value. That is why you'll see the RFP emphasizes not only environmental metrics, but also the ability to translate sustainability performance into executive level financial and operational insights, including normalized unit cost, cost avoidance, and return on investment narratives that support day-to-day operations as well as long-term capital planning. We also want to be explicit about how we are approaching partnership and commercialization. The Alliance is intentionally not prescribing a single partnership or business model for this platform. We do not believe there is a one-size-fits-all answer, and we want to learn from this process. What matters most to the board is that the core platform remains trusted, brand agnostic, and accessible to our members while allowing room for partners to propose thoughtful, sustainable ways to succeed commercially over the long term. Similarly, while you see references to emerging technologies, including artificial intelligence, we are approaching those capabilities thoughtfully and responsibly. Privacy, data protection, and member trust are absolute priorities. We are open to enterprise-level innovation that improves efficiency and usability, but not at the expense of data security or intellectual property protections. Finally, we recognize that building a platform capable of serving organizations of different sizes, budgets, and technical maturity is not trivial. That is why the RFP explicitly allows for phased, modular, and scalable approaches. We are less focused on perfection on day one than we are on vision, credibility, and a genuine willingness to collaborate and evolve alongside our membership. The Alliance occupies a unique position of trust across professional and collegiate sports, and the board takes seriously the opportunity for Play to Zero to evolve into an industry standard platform, one that supports anonymous benchmarking, executive reporting, and future integration with broader sustainability and ESG frameworks. For those of you participating, we encourage you to think boldly, but also practically, about how you can help advance this work. We are eager to see proposals that articulate not only what your platform can do, but how a partnership with the Alliance creates shared long-term value. With that context, I'll turn it over to the Alliance staff who will walk you through the RFP requirements, submission process, selection criteria, and timelines in more detail. Thank you again for your interest and engagement, and we look forward to the conversation.
Awesome. Thank you, Brandon. And I just want to give a big shout out to our board and Brandon for really leaning into this process and helping us to re-envision this Play to Zero platform. We've met with stakeholders. Mika could tell us how many exactly for the past 6 months, really, and trying to re-envision and put this project back on the right tracks. As you know, there are two sides of our mission at the Green Sports Alliance. There's how do we green venues and how do we leverage culture for change, right? The Play to Zero platform is at the heart of this. The Green Sports Alliance exists to accelerate sustainability across professional and collegiate sports. And the Play to Zero program is one of the most visible tools for doing that. It gives members, uh, our teams, and our venues a shared framework to measure, benchmark, and communicate their environmental performance. The Play to Zero is for the benefit of our members. And I think that's worth saying again. The Play to Zero platform, when it was first conceived, and as we envision it now, is for the benefit of our members to accomplish our mission of accelerating sustainability in our sector. This is our 15th year as the Green Sports Alliance. If you're coming to Cleveland in a month from now, it's our 16th summit. And we have to ask ourselves, as an industry, as consultants on the call, as the Green Sports Alliance, are we doing enough? Is the world, is the sustainability, is the sector changing the direction we want it to? We have to lean into these projects that are the most important to us. We have to re-envision how good they can be to accelerate our industry so sports can provide a path for everyone else to follow. There are a few things I want to be clear about, as Brandon mentioned a little bit before I hand it over to Mika when we get into this. Member trust is a starting point for us. Our members span professional leagues, collegiate institution, major venues, many with their own sponsor relationships and vendor ecosystems. Any platform that we move forward with must feel neutral, trusted, private, and secure. Number two is we're not prescribing a model, as Brandon mentioned. We're inviting proposals. We have principles and not a predetermined answer. We want all participating members to have access to a meaningful baseline of functionality. Beyond that, we are genuinely open to how to partner, the different partnership structures, and the commercial approaches we can take for a long-term partner. And lastly, this is a partnership and not procurement. We are looking for a vendor, we're looking for a platform who wants to grow with us and with our sector. Of course, we at the Alliance have assets that can be valuable to a partner, in the same way that we seek a partner who will invest genuinely into sports and sustainability in our space. And with that, Mika, I will hand it over to you to get into the RFP. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you both. Really set the stage nicely for the importance of this project. For those of you who don't know, my name is Mika Alan. I manage the sports membership program at the Green Sports Alliance. So for my role specifically, this is very important as a benefit that we provide to our members. It's a technology platform and a dashboard that sports members are able to use, and it's something that we encourage them to use and track and report to the awards. And I'll get into more of the details. But just to reiterate, what Michael and Brandon have already mentioned is that this is important to our members. This is important to the folks that I'm working with on a day-to-day basis. And so we're really excited about this project as well. We think there's great opportunity for improvement and to provide value to our members and the sports members and venue operators across the globe. So very excited for this project. And I will now hop into more of the kind of details of the project. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. Can you see that all right? Cool. So I pulled up the RFP, which I also put in the chat. So you have it there. I'm going to walk through the RFP, some of the additional documents. We received a lot of questions. I'll talk about the deadline and that process as well later on. But feel free to send me questions that come up during this call. You can put them in the chat box, or you can send me an email. My email is Mika, that's Micah, at greensportsalliance.org. So you can send me questions and we'll make sure to answer all of those publicly. To start off, just to set the stage, the Green Sports Alliance is seeking proposals from technology providers to partner on the development and deployment of a Play to Zero data tracking platform. So to be clear, this Play to Zero platform already exists, and we've had it in a partnership with USGBC's ARC platform for the past few years. So this is kind of the next step, the evolution, the version that will take this to the next level is the plan for this next stage of the Play to Zero platform. But members are currently using the Play to Zero platform, and it has provided some benefit to a number of our members. I'll answer some more specific questions on the amount of members who are using it, et cetera, in the open question forum. In terms of just broadly the project overview and goals, as they mentioned, we'd like to establish a long-term partnership with this technology dashboard that enables sports teams and venues of all sizes and revenue levels as we work with folks from the largest earning folks in the country to some very small leagues and very small venues. So we want it to be applicable for all inclusive for all who have Green Sports Alliance memberships, to baseline, track, and analyze their energy, water, and waste data at a minimum, benchmark performance across venues and leagues, identify opportunities for efficiency improvements and operational best practices, and support eligibility and application for Green Sports Alliance Play to Zero awards. So if you haven't already, I definitely recommend clicking on this link and checking it out. It will showcase what we award our members for on their data. So it's material management. So what's your waste diversion rate? It's energy usage per ticketed attendee, water usage per ticketed attendee, usage of renewable energy, and usage of water restoration. So those are some key metrics that we are giving awards this year. I believe 29 venues will receive Play to Zero awards. So they've shared their data with us. We've checked to make sure which level they qualify for, and they will be receiving awards at our summit this year. So that gives you a little sense of the scope of the amount of venues who are interested in the awards program and are actually eligible. I think one of the most key aspects of any technology platform, but especially for this project, is it's intuitive, user-friendly, and accessible to organizations of all sizes. We want this project, this to be a benefit to our members, not a burden. So we really want to make sure that it integrates well with their current systems. It's easy to use and functions smoothly. And as already mentioned, as a nonprofit organization dedicated to serving sports teams, leagues, and venues, the Green Sports Alliance is uniquely positioned to act as a trusted and secure repository for industry-wide sports venue sustainability data. So security and safety of member data is extremely important to us. It's important that members' data is not shared to third parties or the public, or not accessible to view from other members. So that is extremely important to us, and we're really here to serve our members and serve the industry. Let's see, discussing the dashboard features. So I want to call out the required capabilities. So these are the capabilities that at minimum, the dashboard must meet, as we've talked to a variety of stakeholders and especially our sports members in the industry. These are absolutely essential, for tracking, and they also relate to our Play to Zero awards. So, these will be shown later on as well, but tracking of all measurable waste streams in monthly, tracking of energy usage, including your electricity and natural gas monthly, tracking of water usage monthly, intensity indicators, so ability to input your occupancy, so ticketed attendees, that's what we're using this year, the number of events that you're hosting, your building square footage, these are all essential for inputs there. And then, we already stressed, data privacy and protection. Next, we highlighted some preferred capabilities. These are suggestions, but we are very open to your feedback. What are we missing? So within the RFP submission template, there is a place for you to fill in the blank a little bit for us. Some of the additional sustainability metrics that would be preferred to have, I think they would provide benefit to our members. And once again, some of these capabilities may not be at the base level Play to Zero platform that all Green Sports Alliance members are able to use. Some of these may be more of a premium option, or there may be various revenue generating opportunities for more advanced metrics, but tracking of on-site renewable energy generation and your estimated savings, the rec usage, the WRC usage, your potable water versus non-potable water, water reuse or recapture, irrigated water use and sanitary sewer credits, transportation data and fan transportation data, your total carbon footprint calculation, eligibility for relevant industry certifications. So kind of making that check mark if you may meet something like a LEED certification or a true certification. So the venues are aware. Resilience indicators, so critical systems backed by renewables or storage, dark day versus event day indicators, peak electrical demand. Um, and then for data entry, this is key as well. So once again, these are preferred features that will receive more points towards the RFP. If there's integration with other sustainability or utility tracking dashboards. So I think it's important to recognize that a lot of our members are already tracking their data in a variety of different types of platforms. Energy Star is just one example that many venues use. And so having the ability for the operators at the venues to easily integrate their existing data into the Play to Zero platform is very important. Um, like I mentioned at the beginning, we don't want this platform to be a burden or feel like extra work for the operators, but something that's just a tool and useful for them. So any type of data integration is extremely helpful. API integration with on-site meters, ability to upload, extract, and process utility bills into usable data. So, sending a folder of your utility bills and somehow that gets processed into your energy usage is extremely helpful to members. Same with manual assistance with data upload. And once again, we would not necessarily expect that manual assistance would be provided to everyone, but maybe that's an option that can be a premium option or something that some members select to use. Um, Let's see. Pre-qualification of venues for the Green Sports Alliance Play to Zero Awards. This is definitely a preferred capability. So with things like waste diversion, that may be more simple. For example, you have your waste diversion numbers, and if you're hitting 30%, that qualifies you as a player. 50% is a leader. 90% above is a champion within our award system. So if there's a little check mark or some kind of visual indicator that says, hey, great job with waste diversion this year, you have qualified for the leader category. That would be extremely helpful for the Play to Zero award process and integration. So I think a lot of our members find value in that. And then venue comparison and analysis. So this would be, anonymous participation, and it would, you'd have to voluntarily disclose your information, but to be able to compare the amount of energy usage from, maybe it's per region or per league or venues of specific sizes. Maybe it's open roof or closed roof or turf fields, but to be able to have, the ability to kind of differentiate and compare yourself amongst others is definitely important to our members and to the league partners that we have as well. So having that capability within your technology dashboard to kind of toggle and try out different comparisons is important. And then finally, having the ability to include sponsored assets within the program. So this very much depends on the compensation and partnership model that I'll talk about in a moment. But having the ability to have some sponsored assets, depending on that partnership model, would bring value to the Green Sports Alliance. Let's see, scroll down here to section 3, compensation and partnership model. So as was reiterated by Brandon and Michael, we are very open to learning from you all the different types of partnership and compensation models that work best for both of us and the industry itself. Something we want to understand is how will this partnership benefit your organization as well? That's definitely something we're interested in. We'd like to look at this partnership as long term. At first, we definitely want the core functionality, the required capabilities that we mentioned earlier. So your tracking of waste, energy, and water, with the intensity indicators and your data security, those are required capabilities that we'd like this platform to be able to perform for all Green Sports Alliance members. But there are many opportunities for premium options. There are opportunities to kind of upsell or provide different services to the members who maybe want to track their scope 1, 2, or 3 emissions or want help with manual data entry. So there are a lot of opportunities to consider. We will consider all models, such as a base level complimentary participation that I just mentioned, per user subscription fees. So maybe every user has a small fee that they pay annually. Tiered or premium dashboard features that I mentioned earlier. You have this base level model, but some of the more preferred capabilities are maybe a paid options, sponsored or paid white label solutions. So, we could consider, and depending on the partnership offer and the compensation models, consider just putting an upfront cost to create this white labeled version that maybe would have some sponsor assets available within it, and other unique revenue generating approaches that we're really open to learning from through the RFP process. So please definitely outline your proposed pricing structure and any anticipated either revenue sharing arrangements, upfront costs that the Green Sports Alliance would need to pay, annual fees that the Green Sports Alliance would need to pay, or the Green Sports Alliance members, any type of revenue sharing arrangements. And so that I'll talk about in the moment as we look at the submission template. But we also just wanted to highlight that, this partnership is meant to be mutually beneficial. So we have a growing network of more than 100 professional and collegiate sports members, venues, and leagues. So we see, extreme value in this vendor, who is the, preferred platform. We'll have access to, providing services to our sports members and a highly engaged audience, creating many business opportunities and expanded services. So, that just reiterates why we want to know, how this partnership will benefit your organization. That's important to us as well. And so we have many assets that we can provide in exchange, some of which could be public designation of the selected provider as the official Play to Zero dashboard partner, inclusion in promotional or co-branded materials, like webinars and educational sessions at the summit, in our playbooks and other forms of communication. We have, memberships that we can exchange. We included Exhibit A here, which is a membership deck, which has a full list of Alliance assets and in-kind offerings that we're able to provide. I think Brandon touched on this at the beginning that, it's important for this to remain, the trust is extremely important to our organization. And we would like to make sure that, our members are using this platform, it doesn't feel to them like it's they're getting pitched all the time or it's a platform for sales, but rather they're using this platform as a service. And if they request additional services that may be, available on the platform, that would be an opportunity where we would, make that introduction. But we want to ensure that, these venues all have different relationships and partnerships, and they aren't feeling like they're being sold to while using this provided platform through the Green Sports Alliance. So, remaining that sense of trust between us and the member is extremely important. Let's see. Going down to section 4, here is the template that I have here. So please fill out this template and I will show what that looks like. Here is the template. So there are a number of questions. I think, you can download this template. Another way you could do it is just kind of click, copy, open a new spreadsheet and paste it. And now you have this template that, you can fill out and download when you're done. So it's meant to be simple in that way. But essentially, you put your name, your organization, your email, and website. Are you a Green Sports Alliance member? Yes or no. Here are the requirements. So please fill out if your dashboard is capable. So, it is a requirement that all the dashboards that we consider for this RFP have the ability to track, waste, as I mentioned, waste, energy, water, occupancy, have these data privacy and protection. So, we're looking for yes in all of these line items to be considered for the RFP. So that's, bare minimum function that this is, required for the Play to Zero tracking dashboard. Next are the preferred capabilities. So here, please indicate whether your current technology as is has the capability to accommodate these requests. So you could say yes, currently available. If there's additional information, you can fill it out here. If it's not currently available, so let's say within your technology capabilities, you're not able to track renewable energy generation or the amount of REX usage, or you can't track fan transportation data, you can mention that and then add any details here as well. So that will all be considered if it's, no, we don't have this yet, but it would be very easy to implement in this timeline or would take these steps to implement. That's all helpful information. So you'll kind of go through and fill out what the current status is and if there's any additional details that you'd like us to know. Similarly with data entry, so is there a capability to integrate with other sustainability or utility tracking platforms? What's the status? What's the timeline or any additional details we should be aware of? And then other is an opportunity to mention some of the other preferred capabilities that you think we should be aware of. So let's say, we didn't mention scope 3 here. Let's say you're able to track scope 3, or you have a really good integration with a certain certification program or something else that we haven't considered, but you think we should be aware of that makes your platform preferred. Please put that here in the other section and any additional details here. In terms of the partnership model, so first we'd like just a response of under 300 words, which describes your proposed partnership compensation model. So we'd like to see, here as well, you can list kind of a menu of different options that you can fill out maybe multiple section fours if you're saying, here's version A, version B, version C. Feel free to fill out that in the response section. And then if there's any very specific pricing, you can list them here. So this would simply be, implementation or setup fee. This would be the original upfront payment that the Green Sports Alliance would be required. This is how much it would cost to customize. This is any annual fees. This is maintenance or technical support pricing. Maybe there's a per user feed, or maybe there's tiered pricing. So these are optional. We're not saying that you will necessarily have all of these different pricing fees, but they're optional to consider depending on what your partnership model suggests. Let's see. Industry collaboration. So once again, we want to know how this is going to support your organization, how this is going to support the industry. This is our goal of the project, to support the industry and support the Green Sports Alliance members. So brief response, 200 words or less. How will this collaboration benefit Alliance members, the industry, and your organization as well? Experience. When it comes to experience, once again, we're looking for a brief overview of your relevant work experience deploying technology platforms, working with sports venues or other venues and tracking their sustainability metrics or utility metrics. So we'd just like to understand that how you have worked with with our membership group in the past and your experience with technology platform deployment. Artificial intelligence. Describe your current and or intended future use of artificial intelligence on the dashboard. Like Brandon mentioned at the beginning, we're very open to artificial intelligence providing ease of use for members. However, please also, indicate the safety and data security. That is extremely important to us as well. We want to make sure that the use of artificial intelligence does not make member data public. So that's extremely important. And elaborating on the data security and privacy measures, not just in respect to artificial intelligence, but overall. So those are the 8 questions for the RFP. 9 here is just to include any demos, screenshots, photos, videos, screen recordings, or manuals as hyperlinks or attachments that we can review as well. So if you have some screenshots or something like that of what your technology currently looks like, maybe a recording or a manual that we can take a look at, that's all helpful information, and that can just be included in an attachment in the RFP. So all of these are going to my email. That's mika@greensportsalliance.org. Let's see. So we've also outlined the selection criteria. So following essentially the same format as the submission template, the proposals will be evaluated on the following criteria. Are you a Green Sports Alliance member? That's just yes or no, 5%. Play to Zero dashboard preferred capabilities, accessibility, and functionality. That's the majority, 40% right there. What are the preferred capabilities that you're able to offer through the technology? So you'll notice we didn't even put the required capabilities because those are required. So, it's required that you meet those to be scored. The partnership model is the second biggest portion, so that's extremely important to us. What partnership model are you offering to us? And then some of those short answer questions, so industry collaboration, experience, and artificial intelligence are all 5%, scored 5%, and data security and privacy scored as 10%. So that is how If you're interested in how the submissions will be scored and weighted, that's the list right there. And there's also a document here that kind of lays it out in our scoring and any comments that we have. Timeline. So the RFP opened on March 16th and it will close May 10th. So we have a little over a month still for submission period. The open vendor question period from March 16th to April 1st. All questions and responses will be shared publicly. Next Friday is when all public responses will be posted. So this was a meeting to review and hopefully answer some of those questions just in the review of the RFP. But the specific questions that you all have sent, we're drafting responses and those will be posted publicly. We'll send them to all of the current attendees of this webinar, to all who submitted questions, but they will be linked right here if you need a reference point. June 1st through August 1st, 2026, the shortlisted vendors will be invited to present their dashboard demonstrations to the Alliance Board of Directors Play to Zero Working Group. So more specific information will be sent to that shortlisted list of vendors who are invited, and we'll figure out a time that works for everyone. We don't expect that you have a full version of the Green Sports Alliance Play to Zero branded technology to present at this time because we're still in the RFP phase, but we do want to see technology that you have accessible to use, and some mock-ups or something like that. If there's any specific customizations you would plan to make for us, that's all helpful. This is still in the evaluation period. We'll be evaluating multiple of the shortlisted vendors, so any more information or details that you can provide is always helpful. August 1st through October 6th, the evaluations of the shortlisted vendors will be, we'll evaluate them and negotiate and finalize on the partnership agreement with the goal of October 6th to announce the selected vendor on Green Sports Day. So that's the goal. We'll also be having a symposium around that date, so there'll be a great opportunity to announce in person as well as online and through our other channels. And then we'll start from October 6th to the end of the year, pilot testing phase with a select group of the Alliance members. So we do have a membership committee made up of around 15 to 20 sports members from different leagues, venues, regions, and all of that, who are a good group to test out the functionality. We want to make sure we smooth everything out, that it works well for everyone before the full partner activation begins in January 1st, 2027. So this will include member communications on educational webinars. We'll definitely talk about it at our summit the following year in 2027 to promote the use and adoption of the Play to Zero platform. It would be great if it could be integrated within the awards evaluation process as well for 2027. So that could be a really good moment to get more user adoption. And then, in 2027, it'll be featured and demonstrated at the Green Sports Alliance Summit with the goal of the remainder of 2027 to really encourage the adoption of the platform for all of our Green Sports Alliance members and community. That is a medium and long-term goal is for all of our members to use the platform for it to be a benefit for them, as well for the data to live there and be able to start making some comparisons across venues and leagues. So we really appreciate everyone's interest in this project. Once again, please put questions in the chat box, email me questions. The deadline for questions is tomorrow, April 1st. All questions will be answered publicly once again. So we have quite a few questions already, and we're really happy to answer all of them. Any other thoughts from people on the Green Sports Alliance team?
Mika, there's 4 questions in the Q&A. 3 of them I think we can respond to in writing, but one is more related to how quickly can we get this video out, the video recording.
That I will have to talk to our marketing team. We generally get it out within the week. It's typically how fast we move, and it will. But let me get that response later on. I see a few other questions in the chat box, and as Michael mentioned, we will answer these in the public question answering document that will be sent to all of you and listed here in the RFP.
I think one thing we can do, Shannon, who asked that original question, uh, Mika mentioned we'll check with how quickly we can get that out. But I think by the end of today, we could have a response to that too. If we can't have the video out by the end of the day or tomorrow, which it looks like what you're looking for, I think we could respond with how quickly that video would be available.
Right. If no other comments for now, I will stay on for a little bit. If people have questions that they want to put in the chat box, you have my email. But no, I really appreciate everyone joining. Appreciate everyone on the Green Sports Alliance team for joining as well and helping with this RFP process. And special, thanks to the board of directors and Brandon for really helping us drive this and show leadership in the space. So yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you to everyone participating in this. We look forward to seeing the responses.
Mika, can you separate us from the participants, man? You're muted.
I think I'll end the webinar and then because everyone else has left, but it is recording. So then I'll end it and then we can hop on a call.
Can you
Sounds
just
good.
stop the recording or no?
Let's just do it that way to be sure.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.